Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Ishvara, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Sri Prabhupada. All glories to you. All glories to assembled devotees. You may unmute, Prabhuji. Ishvara, Prabhu, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, all glories to Guru Deva. All glories to Sri Prabhupada.
Okay.
You're welcome. If you're ready, we'll put the verse on the screen and you may begin. We are already 11 minutes behind.
Yeah. I was, no excuse for that. So I will start. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Narayana Namaskita Narachav Narotama Divan Sasatin Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudara Dirayat Nasta Prayusaba Drisunita Bhagavata Sivaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastake Vediramin Chava Purani Bharati Tita Adu Adachimari Chari Sautagiyate Mokam Karatiba Chalan Bango Langati Griya Kripata Hambande Sri Guru Didantarine Paramanda Madhava Dama Pujita Kadavota Paramoni Masatun Vedam Vastavam Atabastu Shivadon Tipata Yamalanam Sima Bhagavati Mahamani Kriteki by Para Ishvara Sadi Urudi Haburudi Tra Kajibita Krishanam Agana Timindasya Gana Gana Salakaya Jakasmitana Tasmashi Gravi Nama Gravi Gurachandaya Rajika Tadavaye Krishna Ya Krishna Bhaktayata Bhaktilana Namo Namah Vanchaka Patrubhyas Cha Kripa Sindhibhyo Cha Pati Tana Pavana Vibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Surabhita Gadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So sorry I'm a little bit late. I thank everyone for being here this evening. It's night time here in Vrindavan, and it's your daytime over there in Africa or in America, or any other part of the world that you may be listening from. So we are talking on Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a Bhagavatam discourse. Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 18, text 34. So this is the narration about how Parikshit Maharaj, how he was cursed by the Brahmana boy. So I just read the text first, and then I'll give you a discourse, shed some light on the purport. And then there can be some question and answer. Brahmanha Kshatriya Bandhuhi Griya Palo Nirupitaha Sakatam Tagre Dvashta Sabandam Bhaktim Arasi. Brahmana, by the Brahminic order, Kshatriya Bandhu, the sons of the Kshatriyas, he certainly, Griyapala, the watchdog, Nirupitaha, designated, Sir, he, Katam, on what grounds? Kat Griye, in the home of him, the master, Dwashtaha, keeping at the door, Sabandam, in the same pot, Boktum, to it, RRT, deserves. Translation of Ampapa Bezibengris, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The descendants of the kingly orders are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. On what grounds can dogs enter the house and claim to dine with the master on the same plate? Purport. The inexperienced Brahmana boy certainly knew that the king asked for water from his father, and the father did not respond. He tried to explain away his father's inhospitality in an impertinent manner befitting an uncultured boy. He was not at all sorry for the king's not being well received. On the contrary, he justified the wrong act in a way characteristic of the Brahmanas of Kali Yuga. He compared the king to a watchdog, and so it was wrong for the king to enter the home of a Brahman and ask for water from the same pot. The dog is certainly reared by its master, but that does not mean that the dog shall claim to dine and drink from the same pot. This mentality of false prestige is the cause of downfall of the perfect social order. And we can see that in the beginning, it was stated by the inexperienced son of a Brahmana, as the dog is never allowed to enter within the room and earth, although it is reared by the master. Similarly, according to Stringi, the king had no right to enter the house of Samika Rishi. According to the boy's opinion, the king was on the wrong side and not his father, and thus he justified his silent father. So this a lot of lessons, this verse purport, and also the few verses before this one and few verses after this one, whereby the Brahman boy, Stringi, is about to deliver a course to Parikshit Maharaj. He's about to deliver a course to Parikshit Maharaj, because Parikshit Maharaj, he had done a wrong thing. He did the wrong thing because he became angry and placed the dead snake on the neck of Samika Rishi. Of course, it was not a glorious act to do that. After all, Parikshit Maharaj is a man of culture. He's a dutiful king, a king who is actually, Parikshit Maharaj was not actually an honorary king. He's what they call a Rajarishi, which means a saintly king also. He wasn't an ordinary king. Someone is someone who knows the Vedic culture. And somebody who knows and thoroughly educated in Vedic culture is well behaved. All his actions are according to the Vedas. But this particular situation, he allowed himself to be overcome by anger because he felt dishonored when he entered the ashram of Samik Rishi, and the sage was meditating. He said it was a samadhi, but Parikshit Maharaj, he didn't recognize that because according to the Vedic etiquette, it's mentioned Atiti Devo Bhava. Atiti Devo Bhava. Like a guest is like God. So if a guest enter your house, which Atiti means something that is unannounced. Unannounced, that's called Atiti. Titi means what is on time, timely. Titi is timely. And Atiti means unannounced. So Atiti is a guest who enter your place, your house or whatever, your place of residence, without any notification. I know that, of course, and nowadays, especially in America, if you show up in somebody's house without inform them you are coming, you'll be shown the door. I know you can't just come, you can't just show up at my place just like that. That's impossible. But in a place of culture, when a guest enter a house, visit someone, the house actually celebrate the house owner will celebrate the arrival of such a guest. Maybe not now. I know that previously in Africa, it used to be like that also. I know in my childhood, growing up in Africa, the relatives or friends, they will come far away and just show up in the house and just show up. And when they show up, it's a great welcome. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. But nowadays in the West, we will not find such a thing. So everything is calculated. You have to be on time you have to be on time to visit anyone. And if you are late, then the host will not be happy if you are late. So everything you have to be on time because people work according to time. So that is conditioned life, where everything is so rigid and all that. It's conditioned life. But in a Vedic culture life, a guest is very highly honored. And it's mentioned that if a guest comes, first of all, it's Atiti Devo Bhava. Atiti Devo means Deva means God. Deva Bhava which means a guest is like God when a guest visits you. So which means when a guest unannounced guest visit your house, you have to be, the whole house have to be made at the disposal of the guest. The whole house. Which means the guest must be provided food. The guest must be provided food. And if the food is not available, if for some reason there is no food, then the water must be made available. After all, anyone can give water as a gift, as to welcome to drink. Even if one is so, let's say, so hard that even is unable to provide water to the guest, then at least some sweet words should be spoken to the guest. Ali wants to welcome the guest with the sweet words. So which means if you're unable to provide food you're unable to provide water, then at least the sweet word must be spoken to the guest. So this is Vedic life, and this is civilized life, whereby everyone is welcome. So in this particular situation, when Parikshit entered the ashram, because he was very, very thirsty, he was, he left he was a king, he left the kingdom, and he was going about in the forest. Usually that's normal thing. Normally the king, they go out doing hunting, usually like hunting or something like that. So Parikshit was in the forest, basically hunting. And he became very, very thirsty. So very thirsty. So he saw an ashram. He said, oh, here's a good opportunity for him to quench his thirst. And then he went inside the house. I'm inside the ashram, the hermitage, and he saw the meditating sage there. A rishi was meditating. So the rishi, he was in samadhi, so which means he's not aware of any external circumstance. He's not aware of any external thing, because he's in this samadhi, meditating on the absolute truth. But when Parikshit Maharaj, when he entered, and then he felt that when he entered the rishi, the sage, did not welcome him, did not even say any single word to him. Not talk of giving water or food for the water. No, there was this etiquette of the guest being like God. This etiquette was not observed. So Parikshit Maharaj is a man of culture. Somebody is supposed to do that. So therefore he became angry, and then he found a dead snake. A dead snake, he put it like a garland on the neck of the sage. Then it so happened that after Parikshit did that, and he was going home, and he started realizing what he has done, started realizing the severity of what he had done. He said, what have I done? What has overpowered me like this? What have I done? Putting a dead snake on the neck of someone? This is horrible act. This is horrible act. And someone who's a descendant of Arjuna, Yudhishthira Maharaj, who are great devotees of the Lord. They are not just ordinary devotees, they are intimate devotees of the Lord. Intimate. Like Lord Krishna was telling Arjuna, the battle of Krishna, he said, back to Shime Shakaraja. He said, because you're my devotees and because you're my friend, so therefore I'm speaking to you, Bhagavad Gita. Back to Shime Shakaraja. So the grandfather of Parikshit Maharaj, they are great devotees of the Lord. And the great devotees, they will never do such a thing as disrespecting a sage. They will never do such a thing. So, and therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is a grandson of Arjuna. This is a grandson of greatest devotee, and he also embodied that quality of being devotee of the Lord. And Parikshit Maharaj, one of his name is also someone, I forgot the Sanskrit name, because when Parikshit was in the womb of his mother, he actually saw the Lord when he was in the womb of his mother. Because that time the Lord had come to the womb of his mother. When Parikshit was inside the womb, and Ashwatthama had sent a arrow to kill the baby inside the womb of his mother. So by the Lord, he appeared to Parikshit Maharaj in his form with the Sudarshan chakra, and thereby protecting the child in the womb of his mother, protecting the child, Parikshit. So that itself, Parikshit So he saw the Lord within the womb of his mother, and the Lord was giving him protection. So Parisha was not an honorary person. He was a great person. So he was lamenting. He became very remorseful of his actions. So when he became remorseful of his action, he said, "Well, I've done this terrible thing, and this thing I've done, this must be the arrangement of the Lord Himself. There must be a divine purpose behind this action of mine. This is very, very dishonorable action. But there must be a purpose behind this. So therefore, I am ready to face any consequence. I'm ready to face any consequence of what may happen. I know that's not going to be pleasant, but I'm ready to face it because I've done something terrible. So therefore, some reaction must be coming. So therefore, I'm waiting. I'm eagerly await what's going to be the consequence of my action. Because usually, the devotees of the Lord do not commit mistake. The devotees of the Lord do not commit mistake, nor do they violate the very principles. But sometimes, according to the Lord's own arrangement, He makes it happen. According to the Lord's own arrangement, He makes it happen that devotees will apparently be overcome by illusion. And then in so doing, because the Lord wants to accomplish a certain purpose. So the Lord wants to accomplish a certain purpose, so therefore He put his devotees into illusion. Just like Arjuna, for example. Arjuna, in the beginning of battlefield Kurukshetra, he did not want to fight. He said, "No, Krishna, I'm not going to fight. This battlefield are my friends, my relatives, my fathers, my grandfathers, cousins. I'm not going to fight this battle. No. I'm going to go to the forest and perform meditation. I'm just going to go on the middle battlefield. I'm just going to go without any weapon and let my enemies, my so-called enemies, kill me. So I'm not going to do this fighting." So the Lord heard Arjuna patiently. He said, "Answer Chen." What is that? What is Dhanasa Chen Pandita, the last line? So the Lord telling Arjuna that, yes, you are mourning for what is not worthy of being mourned. So therefore, you are speaking like a learned man, but you are saying something that is not worthy of someone who's learning. So, because the Lord, He wanted to speak, He wanted to give Bhagavad Gita to humanity. He wanted to give Bhagavad Gita. So the Lord did not, in order to speak Bhagavad Gita for humanity, so the Lord, He had to speak through His devotee, Arjuna. And then He put him into illusion, whereby Arjuna, he said, "Okay, I'm not going to fight." He became overwhelmed with compassion for his relatives. And then the Lord had to speak the Bhagavad Gita. So the Lord spoke the Bhagavad Gita. And so therefore we're able to hear. So there's a purpose behind a particular action of devotees. So when devotees put in a certain situation like this, because there's a higher purpose behind it. There's a higher purpose. So Parikshit Maharaj, he put a dead snake around the neck of a Brahman, of a sadhu, who's in Samadhi trance meditation. So now comes Sringi, who is the son of the Brahman. Sringi is his name. So when Sringi saw that Parikshit Maharaj had put a dead snake around the neck of his father, so Sringi became very, very angry. He said, "What is this? What is this?" So he became very, very angry. However, we should not blame. First of all, it's not to be blamed. After all, in the Vedic scripture, it says there are two terms, mutra and putra. Mutra and putra are the two things. Putra signifies a son, And who's a putra? A son that is very, very, because a son is supposed to give protection to the father. A worthy son sees himself as the protector of the father. And a worthy son is a person by whom a father will be very, very proud of. Will be very, very proud of the son. That's the putra. Whereas mutra is a useless son. Even though the putra and the mutra, they both come from the same source, same genital. Past semen to have son. That is, a woman get pregnant through the sexual intercourse. And also when you want to pass water, you use the same genital to pass water. So the urination, this is called mutra. And urination is called mutra, but the impregnating a woman is called and the production of a child, this is what the result is called putra. So a son can either be putra or mutra, which means a useless son is called mutra, a useless. Someone who's totally useless in a society. Just like in my culture back in Yoruba land, whereby we say that a son, I remember I used to remember some song in Yoruba land, like sometimes people they want to have sons so much, they want to have a child, and they decide, and then the son is born, and that becomes a completely useless son. So therefore, a useless son is not a son. Is not. So anyway, that is, for those who are Yoruba, you can just, you know what I mean. So a mutra and the putra is there according to the Vedas. So normally in the Vedas, a son, he embodies the characteristics of the father. So in this case, the Brahmins, so like a Brahmin boy, he has to be the same, he has to be like embodiment of his father, which means being a Brahmin boy is very, very powerful also, because he also follow the same Brahminical practice. So it's as much powerful as a father. So when he saw his father in such a situation, he saw the neck, he saw the snake on the neck of his father. So Sringi became very, very annoyed. He became very, very angry. That, oh, what is this? Look at these Kshatriyas. What these Kshatriyas, who do they think they are? Because the Kshatriyas, they're supposed to be ruling the earth on behalf of the Brahmanas. It mentioned that the Brahmanas, they're actually the proprietor of the earth. They are the proprietor. When Lord Brahma, when he created this earth, when Lord Brahma created the earth, he gave it to the Brahmins. He gave it to them, like Kashyapa, Parasura, so many. So he gave it to the Brahmins. But the Brahmanas, they are not in the position of ruling they cannot rule because the Brahmanas, they're always engaging in meditation on the absolute truth. They engage in meditation only on the internal aspect of self. So they have no time to be engaging in ruling. They have no time to be doing that. So therefore, they appoint the kings. They appoint competent kings to rule the kingdom. So basically, a king rules the kingdom on behalf of the Kshatriyas. So therefore, as the Shringi is saying here, is comparing the Kshatriyas, is comparing them to dogs. Is comparing them to the dogs. And dog is meant to stay at the door, guarding the doorway. So Shringi compared the Kshatriyas like a watchdog. They are meant to guide. They are meant to guide the door and waiting for the mercy of the master. So the master of the house is there, and the dog is there on the outside, which means, according to Vedic culture, a dog is never allowed inside the house. A dog cannot come inside the house, never allowed. Because nowadays, people have the pet. They have the pets, and the pet dog, not only the dog in the house, but also dog also, they also sleep together on the same bed. They sleep together on the same bed. It's so, this is Kali Yuga anyway. This is Kali Yuga. Everything is completely upside down. So everything has become adharma. Everything has become all that the dog, because the dog is actually dead. They are meant to stay outside. They're not meant to come inside the house. So Shringi was saying that, how come this king entered the ashram of my father? How come he entered? How's he enter? How's someone supposed to be on the outside, be a guard dog, who's like a watchdog? How's he all of a sudden enter the house, enter the ashram? And not just that, demanding to be fed, demanding to be given something. How's that? So Shringi was highly surprised. A dog entering the house, demanding to be fed. So it's like, what has Kali Yuga become that we're having this situation happening? That a dog entering the house and want to eat on the same plate as the master. Want to eat food on the same plate as the master. So this is the reasoning of Shringi. That this is a great offense. Great offense. Great offense. So in one sense, in the consideration, the Shringi is right. Shringi is right in the consideration that yes, what is happening, the king, the person who he was supposed to be to be serving, he all of a sudden he want to partake the drinking items or eatable items on the same plate. So this kind of action, this is unjustifiable. Because the king, being a king means you are low class compared to Brahman. Because the Brahmanas, they are in the topmost class of society, and below them are the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or Sudra. Below them, so therefore, Brahmanas Kshatriya Bandhuhi. It mentioned the descendants of the kingly orders are designated as watchdogs. They're not supposed to come inside the house at all. No talk of wanting to be giving something to eat or drink. You're not even supposed to enter the ashram in the first place. So therefore, Shringi said, okay, now I'm going to have to punish this king. Just watch my power. Just watch. So Shringi was actually, when he was talking, he was addressing his friends. He was addressing his friends. But on the other way, on the other hand, the Brahmanas in Kali Yuga, they've become unnecessarily puffed up. They have become proud of their so-called Brahminical caste. They become so proud. It's due to pride that we find this kind of statement from Shringi. This is the due to pride, because he has failed to analyze, to understand who is this person that has come to the ashram of my father. Who is this fellow? And this fellow happened to be the great King Parikshit. And this Parikshit is not an ordinary king. He's actually a protector of the Brahmins. You know, he protected the Brahmins. He's a protector of children. He's a protector of women. He's a protector. But Shringi, due to his pride, he could not say this. So therefore, it mentioned that Shringi is because this action began at the beginning of the age of Kali. So Shringi represents what the Brahminical class will be in this age of Kali. What the Brahminical class will be. In the scriptures, there are many qualifications, the qualities of Brahmins. Their qualities are mentioned in the scriptures. And one of those qualities is that of compassion. You know, cleanliness, compassion. These are some of the qualities of Brahmins. Brahmins usually don't get angry. They never get angry. One thing. These qualities of Brahmins are there. But mention that in the age of Kali, it says Brahmane, Kali Yoga, Brahmanis, Brahmana Asura Yoni, Asura Yoni Su Prajayati, something like that. That in the age of Kali, the demons will actually be taking birth in the family of Brahmins. That the demons will be taking birth in the family of Brahmanas in the age of Kali. So which means the so-called Brahmanas you see nowadays, they're not really Brahmanas. These are mainly the demoniac elements who have taken birth in the Brahminical family. And because that's why you see all these things, this Brahmanism, whereby you see so much low-class behavior among them, behavior such as anger, false pride, all these things. This is what we find in the Kali Yuga Brahmins. This is what you find them. So this is what we're going to be learning more about this. As Srila Prabhupada gave very, very extensive purports through this text of Shringi cousin Brahmins. And of course, eventually, even the father himself, when he get out of his samadhi, and he heard what has happened from his son, even Sanaka Rishi, he became very, very annoyed. He said, "Oh, what have you done? You shouldn't have done this. What have you done?" The king is called Naradeva. Naradeva means it's Narayan himself in a human form. He's the God in a human form because God is the maintainer. Lord Narayan is the maintainer of all the entities. And the king, the rightful king like Parikshit Maharaj, they are the maintainer. They represent the laws. They are the Lord's arm for the human society. And if you giving a cause to such persons, then you yourself, you've committed adhama, irreligious acts that you've committed. So this we're going to be reading in the future text in this chapter. So, and of course, the Lord is preparing a Parishim Maharaj because the Lord, something is about to happen. Something is about to happen. So he mentioned that Krishna Swadama Pagati, Dhamma Gyana, Divi Sahar, Kalonasta, Krishna is Purana Kudunodita, that when Lord Krishna was on this planet 5,000 years ago, he performed so many activities, performed so many leelas, that is very wonderful, that is very heart-soothing. And when Lord Krishna finished his pastime, he took away everything with him. The Lord went back to his abode, along with his devotees, his associates, the abode, everything. The Lord left the planet when he finished his pastimes. However, for the benefit of the people in this stage of Kali, the Lord again decided to incarnate himself. And what is that incarnation? That the Lord decided to again incarnate himself in the form of SRIMAD Bhagavatam, so that with this Bhagavatam, the men of Kali Yuga will have great benefits. So the Lord wanted to decide to incarnate again, but this time, literal incarnation in the form of Bhagavatam. And this Bhagavatam is none different from the Lord himself. So the Lord, in order to manifest this Bhagavatam, he had to use his own devotees. And this person who's to receive Bhagavatam is Parishim Maharaj. Parishim Maharaj is to receive Bhagavatam. And then from there on, the great personalities, they will hear this Brahman and they will hear this Bhagavatam narration. So which means Bhagavatam would not have been spoken if Parishim Maharaj had not been put in a situation whereby he has to, put this thing, this death snake around the neck of the king, around the neck of the rishi, and then the son of the rishi coming to know this, give a curse to Parishim Maharaj. Okay, within 7 days from now, you are going to die. Within 7 days from now, I curse you that 7 days from today, you'll be struck by a serpent, Takshaka. 7 days my curse. 7 days from today, you will die. And that is when this news was related to Parishim Maharaj, that he has been cursed to die within 7 days. What did he do? He did not protest. He said, oh, this is great opportunity for me. The Lord has shown me his favor. So therefore, I am going to wait for my death. And I'm going to joyfully await the arrival of my death. So Parishim Maharaj immediately, he gave up everything. He renounced his kingdom, gave his kingdom to his son, and then went to the forest. He went to the bank of the Ganges to take shelter. And on the bank of the Ganges, this is where he's going to receive the SRIMAD Bhagavatam. Because the Lord wanted to manifest himself in the age of Kali in the form of narration of his name, of his pastimes, so which is Bhagavatam. So the Lord make this arrangement of putting Parikshit in the situation. Otherwise, ordinarily, Parishim Maharaj could not have done that. Of course, everyone is an instrument in the hands of the Lord. Everyone is an instrument. But sometimes, out of our own ignorance, We are thinking that we are the doer of things. We are the doer of things out of ignorance. Whatever we may achieve in life, we think that, yeah, this is because of our own capability. That's all these achievements have been made. But no, the devotees of the Lord, they see themselves mainly as the Lord's instrument. And whatever the Lord desires, that's what they do. So they see themselves as the Lord's instrument. Just like the Lord was telling Arjun that, oh, my dear Arjun, this battle, this fight that's about to take place is arranged by me only. And as a matter of fact, all these kings, all these warriors, they've already been put to death by me only. So, but you are just my instrument to carry out my mission. You are just my instrument. So the Lord told Arjuna this, but you are just my instrument. So devotees, they are the Lord's instrument. If the Lord want to put one in a good situation, devotee accepts. And the Lord want to put us in a bad situation, devotee accepts. They are very, very equiposed. Devotees are equiposed in all circumstances. They're equiposed in all circumstances. Normally, devotees have no desire for anything. They have no desire for their own personal aggrandizement like that. No desire for that. Their only desire is to simply execute the will of the Lord. That's the only desire. So when Parishimara was ruling, he was only ruling on behalf of the Lord. He was ruling on behalf of the Lord only. When you read the BHAGAVATAM, there was one devotee called Gopal Kumar. And this devotee, in his travel on the way to Godhead, so this devotee was given different position. First, he was made a king. In Saranidhi, he was made a king. And when he was made a king, this devotee, what did he do? He simply used the kingdom as a way to expand the devotional service to the Lord. He saw this a way for him to expand devotional service. So therefore, he instituted so many festivals in the kingdom so that the devotees of the Lord can congregate and take part and take bhajan and also enlighten others. So he increased the culture of devotional service throughout the whole kingdom. And then this devotee, Gopal Kumar, and then he was transferred to the heavenly planet. So in the heavenly planet, he became Indradev. He became Lord Indra himself. And Indra is the king of the three worlds. He's the ruler of the three worlds. So he became Indra. And when the baby became Indra, so the same thing, make sure that everyone become devotee. He expanded the devotees' devotional service to the Lord, in the heavens, in the lower planet, in the middle planet, everywhere. He simply expanded devotional service, of the Lord. Then eventually, this devotee, he was able to be elevated to the Lord Brahma's planet, whereby every single person in the Brahma Loka, they are the Lord's devotees. And there was one time when Lord Brahma, he saw a white form at the Milk Ocean, and he touched this form. But the moment he touches this form, two big demons appear. So Lord Brahman had to run away. He ran away from these demons. He ran away to hide himself. So when he ran away to hide himself, the post of Brahma became vacant. And if the post of Brahma became vacant, that's a trouble for the universe. That's a trouble for the universe. So in order to avert this trouble for the universe, So this Brahman, this Gopal Kumar, he was made to be Brahman himself, so he became Brahman himself. He was chosen to be the Brahman. So he became Brahman. And after he became Brahman, he was again expanded the devotee of the Lord, devotional service of the Lord. And every day he would listen to the different scriptures, analyzing the absolute truth. Hearing Bhagavatam, hearing the different itihasa, different histories. He'll be hearing that. So he made sure that the whole universe became devotees when they became Brahman. So that is devotees. A devotee, they can live as a poor person, or they can live as the most wealthy person. And in this circumstance, they are never disturbed. When they're poverty stricken, they're not disturbed by it, that, oh, I don't have money. How come I don't have money? It's because I'm a devotee of Krishna, so therefore I'm poor. Because after all, the devotees of the Lord is devotees of the Lord, they are desireless. So when they don't have anything materially, they don't lament for it, because they consider it, everything is the Lord's arrangement. And or if they have everything, they became the king, or they became the king of the planet or anything like that, still, they are not disturbed by either one also. They're not overcome by happiness that, oh, no, I have so much now. I have so much now. No. They have the same mentality, either as a poor person or as a rich person. They have the same mentality. They're not disturbed by any affairs by which they may be in. They're not disturbed by it. They remain equal on every circumstance. So therefore, either good situation or bad situation happen to devotees, they remain the same. They remain undisturbed by either one. So Parikshit Maharaj, yes, it was caused by the Brahman Shringi. But at the same time, he just took the opportunities, and now I can now hear and chant the holy name of the Lord. I can now hear and chant. Because this is my end of my life. I can hear, I can chant, I can take shelter of the Lord's devotees. Because I'm going to be give up my body. So these are some of the things about this verse. These are some of the things. Something we can get a glimpse on of what is being conveyed in this purport, this verse of purport. Basically, we're talking of the pride of the Brahmanas of the age of Kali, their excessive pride. And also we talk about the importance of guests in one's house. The Atiti means unannounced guests in your house. We're talking about them. And so which means when someone come to visit you, he's a guest only if he comes unannounced. That's a guest. But if somebody come to you because you already scheduled an appointment, okay, I'm coming to visit your house in this particular day. That's not guest. According to the Vedic vision, that's not guest. A guest means someone who come to your house unannounced. That is atiti. That is a guest, and that guest is honorable. That guest is as good as God. So that importance is there. But again, even though this principle was violated when Parikshit Maharaj was not properly received, but the Brahman boy, he did not focus on that. He did not say, oh, my father did not receive the king, so therefore the king became angry. He did not consider, he just considered the fact that, yes, the ruling class, they're supposed to be like the watchdog of the Brahmins. So therefore they have no right to enter the house of a Brahmin and be asking for food or drink. They have no such right. So therefore, the Brahman Shringi, he lost his intelligence by arriving at this conclusion. So he lost his intelligence by arriving at this conclusion. He lost his intelligence. And that's how the Brahman class, they became polluted. they become contaminated in this age of Kali. So I'm going to stop here. Again, I apologize that I started kind of late. So actually, I went somewhere, I was chanting somewhere. So if there is any question.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Ishara Prabhu. Of course, there are questions. Your classes are so beautiful, and that means your classes attract questions. So, dear devotees, if you have a question, comment, please indicate by using the hand emoji, or you use a physical hand. You'll be asked to unmute, and then you go ahead and ask your question. Prabhuji, thank you for being here. Okay. And thank you for speaking. Very nice class. Well, I don't see any hand up. Well, I have a question, Prabhuji.
Just 1 second, because I'm having some speaking problem. Let me get my 1 second.
All right.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So what's the
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, my question is about Shringi.
Mm-hmm.
Shringi is, I don't know how to explain or describe it, but it's very, very difficult to hear what this small Brahmin was saying about marriage correction. Of course, you were saying that we have Putra and we have Mutra. The only difference is the P and the M. Mutra is useless. Now, I want to find out from you what makes Shringi useless. Is it because of the curse he pronounced, or because of the words, I mean, the foul words he was using against Maharaj Parikshit? Because according to Krishna, 9:30, Rapichet Sudacharo, like if even one commits the most abominable sinful act, if one is engaged in devotional service, it should be considered saintly. Now, if someone commits an offense, if someone commits a crime one time, and we consider such a person useless, then what is the fate? What is the state of devotees? Because as practicing devotees, we're going to be making mistakes along the practices. Does that make us useless, or we see that as a shortcoming and we help correct the individual to be on the right path? So I want you to explain why Shringi is considered a useless son.
Actually, I did not say he was his useless son. It's actually Putra. Putra means son. What I was saying that his son has to be a representative of his father, by which Shringi was. He was very powerful. He was brilliant, just as his father was. So therefore, he has a great capacity, but it was lacking discrimination, because he was a young boy. The young boy don't have much of a discriminating attitude, because he was a young boy, and when this event was taking place, he was He was roaming around in the forest with his friends, and then he heard about this event of death snake being put around his father. So therefore he became angry. So one sense, we don't say that it's a useless son. It's not useless. It was a very powerful Brahman. But he lacked discrimination. He lacked discrimination because he could not ascertain that this king was not an honorary king. So because he lacked this discrimination. So this could be also attributed to his young being a young, immature Brahmin. He was just a boy. But that very act of causing the king, this actually caused the degradation of the Brahmin class in the age of Kali. So that's what I was saying. I wasn't saying that it was useless, but basically a son can either be useless, can either be put to a mutra. Just like King Vena, for example. King Vena was a descendant of Dhruva Maharaj. But King Vena was a useless king because he created such a fiasco in the kingdom. He made the land intolerable to live on. Either by all the classes of people, they can no longer live on the land because of the ruling of King Vena. So at the end, he was caused by the Brahmins to die. At the end, he was caused by the Brahmins to die. So this kind of son is not what someone would desire, those kind of sons. A son should be representative of Dharma, should be able to follow strictly the religious principles. So
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
okay.
Srimad Vara Prabhu, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Vara Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Dandavad Prana. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to you, all glories to all the devotees, devotee assembly.
Hare Krishna.
Well, just one passing comment about Sahadev Prabhu before my question. I think these pastimes of the Lord, where some people acted negatively for something wonderful to happen, it's very difficult to actually pass comments on those who acted negatively. Judas in the Bible happened to be the one who made Jesus Christ to fulfill his mission. And today, Judas can be castigated or whatever, but without him, the resurrection of Christ or whatever Christ happened to do for humanity couldn't have been achieved. Without Stringy, Mara Parishit would not have been there to help us to, bring about the Bhagavatam. So these pastimes, I think they are lila, and some people have to play some role. So anyway, that's just a comment. Now, Prabhu, my question about a devotee becoming a king. A devotee having the means, can possess so many things, and he has to use it for Krishna. So we have seen the example of Srila Prabhupada and the communities he created all around the world. Even presently, the Eco Village in India, these are devotees who have a lot of means, and they're financing this and making something that can become useful for devotee community now and in the future. But in Africa, whether it's lack of guidance, whether it's lack of knowledge, we're seeing the opposite. And every time Krishna sends us or give some devotees some means, some or the other, it has never been used in a line whereby it can become, useful for the generations to come, like having farm community. And we have land. We have land in Ghana, in Nigeria. And for one reason or the other, this land are not touched or even abandoned. And now we are seeing a devotee who seems to have some means, and he wants to put back, give it back to society, but is using that, to do, charitable work for people in the country. So I just want you to comment on this. Are we being misdirected? Do we lack vision, or why is it that in Africa we do not emulate the example of what Prabhupada had created and what is happening elsewhere? So this is just what I want your comment about, because some of these things, they happen and it seems, it's just normal, but it's actually misdirection. So maybe if you throw some light, maybe I can understand better. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, of course, what you've asked can also be termed as a comment also, what you've asked. And this problem is not only limited. Actually, this problem is actually, it's a worldwide problem of ISKCON. That's what we were told. The responsibility that was given to us by Srila Prabhupada, this responsibility is not being fulfilled. Especially Prabhupada wanted us to have simple living and high thinking. Simple living means like we live in a simple village life, village-like life, and then we grow our own food. We become self-sufficient, self-independent from society. And then devotees can live a kind of harmonious and joyous life. But we don't see this to be happening. And that's why, because this is not happening, having not followed the wish of the founder Acharya. So therefore, devotees are having problems all over the world. The problem is there. Therefore, devotees have to struggle to make a living. They have to struggle so hard to make a living. And then the sense of belonging to a community also is not there, because devotees who are supposed to be once well-wisher, they are no longer once well-wisher. Because everybody have to fend for himself. So therefore, devotees don't see each other as their well-wisher. They simply see each other more as an adversary. So it's not a healthy environment. So it's bad, because this is due to not following the Acharya's direction, the Acharya's order which he had given. So therefore, Prabhupada wanted this Varnashram to be established. In order to establish Varnashram, you also need qualified Brahmins, you need qualified Kshatriyas, which unfortunately we don't have. So therefore, it becomes impossible to establish the Varnashram Dham. But through the establishment of Varnashram, then everybody can be engaged in their particular occupational duty, their particular samskara. Everybody can engage in that. But it's not possible, because there has to be a leader. There has to be a leader that can make this happen. But such leader, which is one is Kshatriyas, Shivaras, Yasali Kotavi Kshatriyas, that is lacking, that we don't have. So therefore, it's becoming impossible to fulfill this mission as the Prabhupada. Becoming impossible. So what can we do? We can only chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Kaledo Sanidhi Rajan Astika Mahaguna Kirtana Diva Krishna Sya Mukta Sanghasya Param Rajay. That in the age of Kali, it's full of thoughts. The age of Kali is full of thoughts. It's an ocean of thoughts. So therefore, what is the only way? The only way out is simply the Harinam. That's the only way out. The only name, chant the only name of the Lord. Kirtana Diva Krishna Sya Mukta Sanghasya Param Rajay. So in that atmosphere, whereby everyone is chanting, always chanting, glorifying the Lord's name, in that atmosphere becomes very, very peaceful, and that atmosphere will become we become just like Vaikuntha. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
You can comment more on that
Yeah,
if
please,
you,
go
if you
ahead.
need.
No, anyway, I just want you to, there's a lot of things that pass by and it's like it's no news. But these things, if we have to see them in perspective of what Prabhupada wanted, the priorities of our movement, it doesn't seem to count any longer what the priorities of the movement. Everyone does what he wants, and it's very sad. It's very sad. It's just like we're walking in the wrong direction, and we want people to know that we're doing something. So this kind of festive, that is working together, everyone doing his own thing in different direction, will never bring the right result. But even if we're very few and we're working together in the same direction, that is what brings synergy. 2 + 2 will no longer be 4, it will become 10. But if everyone is working together but doing his own thing, would never bring the right result. So this is lacking everything. You can see this happening, but unfortunately, it's like it can only happen that way, and it's very sad. So anyway, I appreciate your response. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Prabhu, yeah, go ahead. You wanted to say something, Shara Prabhu?
No, I'm waiting for people to give
Right.
to give
Prabhuji, your answer to Srimad Prabhu's question and observation is very interesting. Of course, it's scriptural. That is what we are all asked to do. But don't you think that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and doing Harinam, doing all this book distribution, we all know that they are the basis and the goal of our spiritual life. But don't you think we also have to consciously, alongside doing all these things, plan as to how to make what we want to see happen? Because some of us have seen and heard from different platforms where devotees sometimes say, what intelligence do you have to even think to plan? Don't plan, just chant. But I do not think that is how Srila Prabhupada wanted us to live our lives, just chanting and no planning. So I want you to throw a bit more light on the answer you gave, that we have to chant, we have to do Harinam. That is where our strength is, where is that? But I'm thinking that alongside, there should be a conscientious planning as to what we want to achieve. If you can throw more light on this, I will appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Even our main activity is hearing and chanting, Harinam, books. That's our main activity. But other things is there. That's just like Prabhupada gave us a farm community. He said we should use the farm community so that we can become self-sufficient. But how do we do? Well, that plan is not been fully implemented in all the ISKCON society. Only some few areas who have their own farm communities and devotees are living a self-sufficient life. But most places of ISKCON, the majority is not. Everyone depends on the Karmic society, the outside society for life provision, maintenance. So therefore, it's devotees basically, they lose the focus, they lose that. But this problem can only be addressed mainly by the leaders. The leaders is the one who have to, they are the one who has to come up with the idea. Because me or you, any person, we can have so many ideas, but unless it's coming from the top, the ideas will not work. So the leaders, they are the ones who put their head together. So therefore, we have the ISKCON GBC especially. So they have to put the head together. They have to be able to analyze that society is going the wrong place. It's going on the wrong platform. So how do we bring everyone back to the right place? So that is up to the leaders to come up with something. Otherwise, we see that every year devotees they are living by thousands every year. Devotees are they are looking for a better place where they can truly be happy. You know, if they feel that they cannot see this in ISKCON, so they say to them is okay, there must be a better place where what the heart desire, that's where that can be found. So it's a common disease. This is all of this international. It is international disease. It's not just one area of ISKCON. It's international.
Yes.
So it's up to the leaders to do something. Otherwise, devotee will just take things in their own hand, and eventually some will take their spiritual life to their own hand, and some will be doing their own individual bhajan. That's what it will come down to. Doing their own personal bhajan. Like, living here in Vrindavan, many devotees come here. They come to Vrindavan. But after some times, they start looking, because in Vrindavan, there's all kinds of spiritual practices there by different sampradaya, different groups. So devotees will be looking around to see which of them is suitable for them, because they feel disappointed being ISKCON. And then they start going out here and there, listen to this person, listen to that person. So that is there. So again, it lies on our leaders to really come up with something. Other devotees can follow. So it's not an easy solution anyway. It's not an easy solution.
Yeah.
So
Not easy.
no.
Not easy. But thank you, Prabhuji, for what you just shared with us. But I'm just recollecting something His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj trained us in, because Gurudev was like, I should say, like a futuristic person. He always looked into the future ahead of time. So it's unfortunate that devotees may be living, and I cannot fault them because they have legitimate reason. Whoever lives has a legitimate reason to live. But our Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj gave us some few scenarios that unless someone is being pushed out of the movement, one on his own should not leave the movement, no matter what the situation. And this is what Gurudev used to say. He says, if you have a mental problem, I have a mental problem, he has a mental problem, and we all admitted to a psychiatry. But your mental problem is not as intense as mine. But we are all receiving treatment. And you see me misbehaving so crazily in the psychiatry ward. Would you say, oh, this guy is too crazy, so I'm leaving? You're not going to say that. And again, he also used to give this analogy that if you are on a plane in the sky and there is pandemonium, there is problem on the flight, what do? Are you going to jump out? You cannot jump out. So I'm not in any way trying to overlook or belittle people's legitimate concerns for living. But it is also very important that we realize that it has to be done by all of us together. And quitting will not solve the problem. I don't know if you would like to throw more light on it, but this is what I remember my Gurudev pushed into my head and into my heart. And it's always been with me that I'm praying. Anything can happen. I'm just a condition, so I'm praying. But until ISKCON pushes me out, I'm not getting myself out of ISKCON, no matter what frailties, weaknesses, mismanagement, whatever. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, actually, as it's just like one time, a few days ago, I was discussing with one devotee, because currently our society is experiencing big, massive problems. It's like a faith, which is like challenging many devotees' faith. And this devotee is telling me how many devotees, especially South America and other places, many of them they become so discouraged that they actually leaving. So we were discussing about this. So the same time I was reminded of what I did a long time ago. I think I heard this from Bhakti Maharajas, that how a devotee, how we have to learn to fly our own plane. You know, just like when you go to flying school, you are there along with so many fellow students. So you all learn how to fly. You learn how to fly the planes. And at the end of the courses, everyone's got certificates. So you become pilot of different planes. So now, once you are in the plane, flying the plane, you're alone. You're no longer there with all your fellow students or your teachers. You're alone in the plane. So ultimately, which means, and when flying the plane, there'll be so many things. You may be run to turbulence. There may be, all kind of thing is there. And if you don't pay attention to your flying, what you've learned in your school, if you don't pay attention to that, then ultimately you're going to face crashes, ultimately. So in this case, we have to learn to fly our plane very nicely. If you fly our plane very nicely, so the kingdom of God will be open to us. The kingdom of God will be open to us if you learn to fly our plane very nicely. Which means no deviation, just effectively steering your plane to the destination. And we should not be looking here and there, okay, this person is not doing this, that person is not doing this. So therefore, let me give up what I'm saying. No, that is never the recommendation of the acharyas or the scriptures. It's what you've learned yourself. What is what you've cultivated. That's going to determine how well you are flying your plane. That will determine it. Not what somebody is doing or what somebody else is not doing. No. It's like, what are you doing? So that is, something I've learned a long time ago.
Well,
Okay.
thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else with any question or comment? Because Prabhuji, it must be late your time in India then. But again, thank you for being here.
Like we have someone driving a big truck here.
Oh, that's Govinda Prabhu, yes.
Okay.
He's a SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM addict. He's always listening to Bhagavatam no matter what he's doing. Arichakra Prabhu, please unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, can hear you.
Yeah, I'm. My question is a follow-up of Varaha Prabhu, the question Varaha Prabhu asked, and plus, well, I also when Ishwara Prabhu gave the answer, I was not going to ask question, but just the statement he just made about the analogy he gave about the flying pilot, it kept me thinking about something, and I said, no, then I need to ask this question. So the idea is like Ishwara Prabhu was referring that we as individuals, there isn't much that we can do, but it's up to the leaders to make sure that the desires of Prabhupada is made manifest. So if we are all thinking like this, then does that mean we like those of us who are not in the position of leadership, there's nothing that we can do to try to make sure Prabhupada's, what do we call it, desires made manifest? Do we have to just sit down and look on and just console ourselves by saying that, oh, we have to just chant, do some Harinam, and that's it? So, like, I'm a little bit confused about that. Do we have just to look on and say, oh, we are waiting on the leaders to take the initiative and keep waiting? Is that what we have to do?
No, that's not what I mean. Our spiritual, I just like this, I commented and talk about flying our own plane. So as individual devotee sadhakas, we have been given the seed of Krishna consciousness by our gurus and the scriptures. So that seed is what we have to follow. And that seed is what's going to take us back to Godhead. We are told to chant, to read a book, to take prasad, to honor the Vaishnavas. So we have been given these instructions. And that is what we have to follow in order to take us back home. So now the other one is when we're talking of society, the association, when we're talking of the organization, then usually the leaders they have the ultimate responsibility to steer the ship of ISKCON properly. And because otherwise the voting in general, they'll be very, very, if there's no proper direction, there'll be a lot of whimsicalness. They'll be doing things which are not Krishna conscious. And they will think that it's Krishna conscious. So therefore, effective leader is needed, is required. It's required. Of course, I know that our leaders are trying every day, every year they're coming up with advices, new policies, this and that, with the expectation that devotees will follow that. But in majority of the cases, I find that devotees don't follow those advices. They try to do things on their own way. And because they do that, so that's why we have problem. We have problem in society. So as members of the organization, we have two roles to play. One role is our own sadhana, our own bhakti sadhana. And the other role is our being a member of the organization. What can be done? So that's the two things. So in our own individual capacity, our spiritual life is the most important. Our hearing, our chanting, place of pilgrimage is very, very important. Being our attitude towards other devotees, very, very important. So, that's the thing. So we have to see that we collect individually or collectively. That's what we have to see. Hare Krishna. I hope that is okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Can I quickly ask another one?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I strongly appreciate the way Ishwara Prabhu is answering the question, and I also I go with what he's talking about, our individual sadhana. But along our sadhana also, we know that chanting and hearing and chanting is going to increase our sadhana.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know that if we are able to do book distribution, it's also another means of increasing our spiritual life, because the more we are able to give, the more Krishna gives us. Okay, so this particular example, like recently, there were a lot of books that was sent to Togo to be sent to the various places in West Africa.
Mhm.
and it got stuck at the port. And Kavchana Maharaj and other devotees, they were struggling, trying to go here and there to make sure the books come up. So my question is, if we as individuals, if there is a leader somewhere who is not like coming up with something, and as individuals, we just sit down and look. When something like this happens, like when we have so much books at the port and we cannot even clear, but to clear the books, we need money. So what are the strategies that we are putting in place so that when such things, occasions, things happen, we will be able to like immediately get the books, distribute them, and expand Prabhupada's mission, and at the same time make benefits, get benefits for distributing these books to enhance our individual devotional service also. So I'm more like, we actually need planning and real strategies. Even though if the leaders has not come up with something as individuals, I think we should have the liberty to also come up and put some strategies in place. And until a leader comes up and tell us that, hey, these strategies you are putting in place, I will not let you do it, then we should keep going. Other than that, we will be sitting on our, it's like you are having your children in your house, and the children keep looking at the father, that we are waiting for father to make a decision before we act. Then what sort of children are they? They can also come up with something. And once they take the initiative, if the initiative is appropriate, the father may give his blessings. But if children wait and say we are waiting for the father to take initiative, then they might wait for the rest of their life without any initiative being taken place. So this is the where I wanted you to like give me a little bit in depth about.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually whatever you said, it actually answered itself. You know, whatever you said. Because I have to, you know, judge based on my own personal experience in the past 45 years since I've been in this society organization, that it's difficult to see ourselves individually. It's difficult to control the mentality of others, especially of other devotees. It's a difficult thing. Why? Because every devotee has got certain ideas. You know, it's just like you want to go on Sankirtan and you have a group of devotees, let's say 4 or 5, it's okay, let's go on Sankirtan. And maybe individual person, devotees, maybe they have experience of a certain place whereby they've done distribution nicely. Maybe they have such an idea. And other devotees maybe have another idea that, oh, this place is better. So therefore, when you have, even though each idea is noble, but you have so many conflicting ideas, a lot of conflicting ideas there. And that's why the leadership would say, no, everybody should go here this day. This is what I want everyone to go here. So when the leader is followed that way, that even though sometimes the mission may not be successful, at least we did this based upon the leadership direction. So I know, of course, we cannot, as an individual person, we cannot let our house fall, you know, because we have to see it as a collective responsibility. So we cannot let our house fall. That is a proper owner or a proper resident of a house. Cannot let the house fall. That's responsible life. If somebody tells well, it's not my duty, and the house is falling apart, let the house fall apart. So that person has no sense of duty, no sense of responsibility. Such a person. But a high-grade person, like a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Brahmana, they all have a sense of duty. And so therefore, they all contribute their might to the situation. They contribute their might there, you know. But at the same time, in an age whereby we have so many ideas, and everybody wants to see that the idea gets implemented. So we have trouble, that we had trouble accomplishing anything. The trouble is there. But again, if we remain in our own sadhana, we chant, we pray for the Lord's mercy, devotee of the Lord's mercy, then eventually things will become nicer to us. Things will become, you know, good, as they say, to us eventually. So anyway, there's no magic answer to this. There's no magic answer, because this is what our GBCs, they've been deliberating on this for a long time. For a long time, they've been deliberating on this for a long time. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Okay, Vara Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Like you said, there's no magic answer, but the problems can be identified. And once the problems are identified, we are closer to the solution. So if the leaders are actually discussing on this, and they're not coming up with any solution to some of these important questions, one and only one thing which I can see as obstacle is individualism. Individualism is one problem, and then loyalty to association rather than to Krishna is also another problem. People become so loyal to association that they really don't see what they can do different. I mean, right? Let me just give you an example. So the Prabhupada said, I've given you the framework, now you build it. And then the foundation of the framework, what is required is being repeated, was being repeated during Prabhupada's time. They continue to repeat the same thing till today, like as if we're still at the beginning. Can't you see? So if the framework is what Prabhupada has given and he said, build it up, and then we continue repeating the same thing that needs to be done for framework, then where are we going? The reason why people get disillusioned. Anyway, many things can be said, but I just feel that sometimes our blind loyalty to association rather than to Krishna could be a very big factor in causing all these setbacks. That's just one point I'd like to make. Thank you for all what you have said. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. You know.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for your contributions. And thank you so much for speaking, Mr. Speaker. His Grace Ishwara Prabhu. Anyone else with any question or comment before we let Prabhu go? All right.
It's after 10 my time, after 10 p.m.
Yeah, so I think we'll let Prabhuji go. And at this point, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute. And then we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation for our revered speaker. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha,
Kripa Sangha Evancha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha.
all glory to His grace, Shri Shara Prabhu ki jai.
Jai, jai.